If you're worried your kid is using AI to cheat on their homework, you're worried about the wrong thing. It was never about whether they used the tool. It's about whether they did the thinking. That's the line. Everything else hangs off it. Here's what it looks like from the kitchen table. A kid opens a tool, types in the question. A finished, correct-looking answer comes back in about 4 seconds. The worksheet's done. The grade comes back fine. Everyone moves on. Nothing looks wrong. And that's exactly the part that should worry you. So I ran a little experiment on myself. I took one 10th grade algebra problem and did it twice. First pass, I just asked the tool for the answer. 4 seconds. Clean. Correct. Second pass, I made it refuse to tell me, only nudge me toward it. That took 20 minutes. It was kind of painful. Then I closed the laptop and tried the next problem cold. No help at all. And I could only do it because of the slow, painful one. The fast, clean answer that looked perfect, it taught me nothing. Sit with that. The answer arrived. The learning didn't. And from the outside, the two look identical. What I want to walk you through is the actual classroom data on that gap, in plain language, no panic. Who measured it, how big it is, and the one thing that decides which side of it your kid lands on, because that one thing is smaller than you'd think. 4 things I want you to take from this. First, the same tool experiment. Then, the mode your kid is actually in. Then, the tutor that beat the classroom and the fine print nobody reads. And the one switch that costs nothing. First, what actually happens when a kid asks AI for the answer? A school in Turkey ran the experiment you'd want to run. About 1,000 kids, randomly split, published in one of the most serious science journals there is. 3 groups. One got regular ChatGPT to practice math. One got a stripped-down version that would only give hints, never answers. One got no AI at all. Here's what happened. The ChatGPT group looked great while practicing, 48% better than the no AI kids. Then they sat a closed book exam, no tool in hand, and they scored 17% worse than the kids who'd never touched it. Worse than nothing. The hint-only group? They did just as well on the exam as the no AI kids, and far better during practice. Same technology, opposite result. The only thing that changed was whether the tool handed over the answer or made you reach for it. And the mechanism is right there in the message logs. The unrestricted tool was flat wrong about half the time. The kids copied the wrong answers anyway, without checking. I ran my own version. I took the Get the Answer tool across a whole worksheet, sailed through it, felt great, every box correct. And you've probably watched a kid do exactly this at your own kitchen table. Then I closed it and tried a fresh problem cold. Couldn't even start it. The worksheet was done. The work was never done. That's the trap. The grade looks fine while the learning quietly doesn't happen. And you find out at the test, when it's too late to reteach it. The fast, clean answer is the dangerous one, precisely because it looks like success. So if I were you, the question to ask isn't, did you use AI? It's, could you do the next one without it? That one question tells you which mode they were in. Then, which way your kid is actually using it. Now, you might be thinking, fine, but my kid uses it the good way. The numbers aren't comforting. By late last year, 62% of students from middle school up said they use AI for homework. 7 months earlier, that number was 48. It's not creeping up, it's a steep climb. And when researchers looked at what students actually do in those conversations, nearly half are just direct answer requests. Type the question, take the answer, barely any back and forth. Here's the part that gets me. 67% of students themselves believe all this is harming their own critical thinking, and that number is climbing too. They know. They can feel it happening, and they reach for the tool anyway. I'm not above this. I caught myself typing in a question I already half knew the answer to, just to skip the friction of working it out. Nobody decides to use it the lazy way. You just reach for it, because reaching for it is the path of least resistance. And you've done it too. So, here's the uncomfortable part. The mode most kids default to is the exact mode the studies show backfires. That learning loss result from Turkey isn't some edge case you have to go hunting for. It's a description of the average kid's average Tuesday night. Try this. Next time, don't ask what tool they used. Just watch which mode they reach for first. The default is the tell. Then, the tutor that beat the classroom. And the fine print. Now the other side, because there's real evidence AI can help, and this is where you read the fine print. There's a Harvard study where a structured AI tutor beat live, in-class teaching by 0.63 standard deviations. In plain terms, a big jump, the kind of gap education researchers almost never see. Students learned more in less time and liked it better. Sounds like the answer. Here's the fine print. That AI wasn't ChatGPT out of the box. It was a purpose-built system. Expert-written instructions, custom videos, months of design. The researchers themselves are careful to say it won't always win. I read that study and thought, great, I'll just do that at home. I opened a plain chatbot, told it to tutor me the way the study did, and on the second question, it cheerfully handed me the answer. The thing that beat the classroom wasn't a chatbot you can download. It was months of expert engineering wearing a chatbot costume. And be careful with the big promises. You'll hear that AI tutoring delivers 2 sigma, 2 standard deviations, an enormous leap. That number traces back to 2 PhD dissertations from 1984 that nobody ever replicated. The realistic effect modern research finds is about 1/3 of a standard deviation. Real, useful, and a fraction of what's being sold. Meanwhile, the most famous AI tutor in the world, used by 700,000 students, still has no published study on whether it works. Studies, they say, are underway. The honest version of the good news is narrower than the headline. The most rigorous result, a UK study, wasn't about practiced problems at all. The AI-tutored kids were 5.5 points more likely to solve problems they'd never seen before, which is the only thing that tells you they learned something, instead of just borrowing the answer for an afternoon. So, the marketing sells you the study's headline number. The tool in your kid's hand isn't the tool from the study. If I were you, I'd stop shopping for the magic tutor app and start setting the one rule that makes any tool tutor instead of answer. The rule is free, the app is a distraction, and the one switch that decides which side they land on. Here's where it comes together. But first, 2 findings that sharpen the point. A 26,000 student study tracked kids over 2 years. The AI users started out behind, about 2 grade points behind the non-users. Within a single year, that gap nearly closed. And the thing that explained the difference wasn't which kind of AI they used. It was the teacher. Teacher quality mattered about 20 times more than AI type. And a university study let students use AI all through their coursework. Their grades held up fine, but on a surprise test with no AI allowed, big gaps opened up. Grades up, knowledge hollow. So put it together. The tool isn't the variable. The way it's used is. There's a name for the split, and it's plain enough. Automate or augment. Use AI to automate the thinking, to do it for you, and you learn less than nothing. Use it to augment your thinking, to push on it, question it, make you do the work, and you're fine. And the switch between those two is almost nothing. The version that finally worked for me was 4 words I typed at the AI. Don't tell me, ask me. Same tool, same problem, opposite result. It went from a vending machine to something closer to a patient tutor, and I came out the other side able to do the next one cold. You can try this tonight, same chatbot your kid already has open. And here's the one that should stay with you. The biggest results in this whole field don't come from students using AI at all. They come from AI helping human tutors, feeding real teachers suggestions in real time. The weakest tutors improved the most. The pattern that works isn't the machine replacing the person, it's the machine making the person better. Which means the gap between a kid learning less than no AI at all and a kid learning just fine is 1 instruction. 1. And right now, nobody is teaching them to give it. So let's put it back together, last thing first. The switch is 1 instruction. Make the tool coach instead of answer. Ask me until I get it myself. Free, and almost nobody flips it. The miracle tutor in the headlines was engineered for months by experts. The app on your kid's phone isn't it. Most kids default to the answer mode, the exact mode the studies show backfires. And the same tool, 2 ways. Get the answer, and they learn less than no AI at all. Work toward it, and they're fine. So here's the move. Don't police the tool, set the rule. 1 sentence, every time they open it. Ask me, don't tell me. The device was never the variable. The way it's used is. Same tool, same kid. One way teaches, one way doesn't. That's the memo. Read.